Good afternoon. Welcome to Weekend Central. We come to you live from our studios here at Adesawe Kanda in Accra. Coming up this afternoon, in the headlines, detained former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta rejects Ghana Embassy support, insisting on the presence of his lawyers. Also in the bulletin this afternoon, concerned SNIT pensioners reject 10% increase for 2026, questioning the basis for the increase and demanding more. And later, Awin Municipal Security Council is urging calm in Boinso-Jema boundary dispute. We have details of these and many more coming up shortly. Do stick and stay with us. My name is Judith Brown. Well, in our first story this afternoon, Ghana's ambassador to the United States of America, Victor Emmanuel Smith, has disclosed that former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has rejected all diplomatic courtesies, well, according to him, while in the custody of the Immigration and Custom Enforcement, ICE. Let me walk you through some of the details of that statement issued by the embassy dated January 10, 2026. Now, per the statement by the Embassy of Ghana in Washington, D.C. on the detention of Ken Ofori-Atta, it says that the Embassy of Ghana in Washington, D.C. can confirm that Ghana's former Finance Minister Kenneth Ofori-Atta has been taken into custody by Immigration and Custom Enforcement, ICE, in the United States. Upon receiving this information, the embassy undertook the necessary steps to verify the circumstances surrounding the matter. Following confirmation, the statement continues to say that the embassy formally contacted the relevant detention facility to request access to Mr. Ofori-Atta in order to provide consular assistance in line with established diplomatic and international protocols. Well, the embassy says that it was informed by the facility that the detainee, being Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, declined to engage with consular officials at the time without his lawyers present. And so clearly what they're saying is that he decided that he wasn't going to engage the embassy after they offered help. And he says he would only do that if his lawyers are present. While the Embassy of Ghana remains in contact with the appropriate United States authorities and will continue to follow the matter closely to ensure that Mr. Ofori-Atta's rights are totally respected, and that is signed by the Ambassador Victor Emmanuel Smith on the 10th of January 2026. And so those are the details basically as regards to really the detention of the former Finance Minister, Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta. And of course, what the embassy is saying, that they tried to offer help, but indeed he said that he would not allow until his lawyers are present. And so he declined the offer, according to the embassy. Meanwhile, the Attorney General, Dr. Justice Remsai, disclosed that the U.S. visa of former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta was revoked in June 2025, contrary to reports that the visa had expired. He also said a preliminary hearing for the former Finance Minister will be held on January 20. He spoke on the key points on Saturday.
June 2025, that's last year, his visa got revoked. I know I've seen statements from people who said the visa expired. The information we have from authentic sources is that his visa was revoked in 2025, June 2025. So he's been living in America without a visa, let me put it that way. We will use every possible legal means to bring anyone who is running away from justice in this country.
Including Ken Ofori-Atta?
Yes. Look, the people of this country have elected President John Mahama to put in place mechanism for bringing people to account. It's a question of accountability. And President Mahama has taken it more seriously than anything he's doing. And we, the persons who have been appointed as ministers to do the work for the president, have no option but to take these things very seriously. And there will not be anything that will leave, any stone that will leave unturned in achieving the goal. And that's what I'm telling you, that if anyone thinks that running away to another country would be a solution to, would be a channel or a path to refuse or to refuse to subject himself to accountability. Well, not under this government. We are going to do everything within our powers, which the law allows us to do, to bring anybody back to this country. And it doesn't have to be extradition only. Well, I am not aware of any petition from his lawyers. What I'm aware of is that the ICE itself has its own mechanisms for giving hearing, administrative and judicial mechanisms. He may take advantage of that. And on the 20th of this month, there will be a preliminary hearing on that. And when that happens, depending on the outcome of what his decision is, we may have him or he may remain in the process for a bit, maybe for a few more weeks. But be that as it may, we have been given a job to do. We are committed to doing that job. And we will ensure that what the people of Ghana are entitled to, which is accountability, will be done.
Well, you heard the Deputy Attorney General, Justice Srem Sai. Well, we're going to stay on matters relating to the arrest and detention of the former finance minister because investigative journalist Manasseh Azuri detailed how and where the ICE agents picked him up in Washington, D.C.
Had sources that witnessed the arrest of Ken Ofori-Atta, and the sources say he was arrested in Washington, D.C. on the morning of Tuesday, January 6, 2026. And then the information is that this wasn't like those organized raids by ICE at specific places. It looked as if they had gone in specifically for him because the sources say that as soon as he emerged from the entrance of the building, they moved in, surrounded him, got him into the car, and then drove him away. And if you look at the place where he was arrested, it is about 89 miles from where he's detained now. That's about an hour and 30 minutes drive. So that was how it occurred in Washington, D.C. And then there is also the specific location where he was arrested. There is a luxury apartment complex in Washington, D.C., located on the 1111 24th Street in Washington, D.C., and the building is called the Westlight Apartment Complex.
Now, away from this issue, the Concerned SSNIT Pensioners Forum, CSPF, has rejected SSNIT's proposed 10% pension increase for 2026, saying it is inadequate and fails to ease the worsening living conditions of retirees, especially low-income pensioners. SSNIT on January 8 announced that the minimum monthly pension for new pensioners had increased from 300 cedis to 400 cedis, while pensioners currently on minimum pension of 300 cedis would receive 409.56 Ghana cedis after the 2026 indexation. The forum has, however, questioned the basis of these figures. Dr. Edouanani Entry is convener for the forum.
Yes, inflation has been so high against the indexation that the state has been doing. And we agree, if inflation is around 30, 40, 50, there's no way state will give you something higher than inflation. So now that inflation has come down, I was expecting that at least some meaningful percentage will be granted so that the high level of erosion of value that has happened over the years you can reclaim some erosion now. We take the opportunity for inflation coming down to help pensioners to reclaim part of the lost value that has happened along the lines in recent years. Because if inflation was at 30, even at 30, and you offer somebody 15, 50% is already gone. You claim you reclaim 15. And that has been going on for some time now. So we thought that when inflation is coming down, SNAIT will use it as an opportunity to give some percentage increment that would help reclaim some of the lost value that has happened over the period. But this didn't happen. They are always targeting that inflation is 4. So if I give you 5, I have tried. Then you ask yourself, if inflation goes to 40, would SNAIT be able to give us 41 or 42? No, they would not be able to give 40. So they know that when inflation is high, they cannot match it. And therefore, the erosion continues. So now that inflation has come down, they should have taken the opportunity to give us a little higher so that we can reclaim some of the lost values, erosion that has happened over the years.
Now let's head to the Upper East region, where the paramount chief of the Talensi traditional area in the region, Nab Kubli Song, has announced the establishment of vigilante groups in all communities in the Talensi traditional area to assist the security services fight crime and insecurity. From 2022 to date, armed robbers have shot and killed not less than 7 young individuals. Here's a report by our Upper East regional correspondent Tanko Mohammed Rabiu.
The large discovery of gold and mining activities in the Talensi district is accounting for the rampant incidents of robbery in the mining community. The Talensi district has been invaded by armed robbers who are robbing citizens of their properties, including motorbikes, money, gold, mobile phones, and other valuable items. On Tuesday, December 30, 2025, at about 8 p.m., armed robbers shot and killed a young mason. The Tongran, Talensi Traditional Council, the Talensi District Assembly, and the Ghana Police Service have collectively activated a response mechanism in dealing with the menace, especially in the mining communities.
At least we know that the Fulani people have stayed with us here for quite a long time. And most of them who have been here for all this while have been very, very responsible. So we call them in to let us Jojo and interact so that they will talk to whoever joins them, especially for now. The whole idea is not to accuse them, but to let them know that we have to work out in a way that we will, arrest this kind of armed robbery within the area.
The district chief executive for Talensi disclosed that DISEC is apt tax on the development.
Even if there are 1,000 policemen patrolling in Talensi here, they are not enough to control the whole area because of the size of the land. So it is good we ourselves form a vigilante group to support the police by way of giving them information and giving them leads to how they can come down on this illegal people who are actually terrorizing and then robbing people of their properties and sometimes causing loss of life to people.
The Talensi District Police Commander, ASP Suleiman Al-Hassan, urged residents to collaborate with police in fighting crime in the area.
The little one that we do is also to assist us with information. When we get information, we act on it, and we promise that we'll always shield people who will always volunteer information for us. We will not, and those who give us information to act, they should also keep their peace by not going around trying to boast that I volunteered this information for the arrest of this big man or this. If you do so, you are exposing yourself.
Some government workers, including nurses and teachers, declined postings to the mining communities, citing insecurity and armed robbery, while existing workers are leaving the eastern part of the district. Businesses have slowed down during the evening and dark hours due to fear of being attacked by unknown gunmen.
Well, joining me via Zoom right now is Upper East Regional Correspondent Mohammed Tanko Rabiu. Mohammed, thanks for joining us. Now, tell us really how prevalent are issues of armed robbery in the Talensi traditional area?
Yes, thank you very much. As Rafi mentioned, because it's a mining area, there are so many activities that is going on in terms of gold activities. So the area has been invaded by known men who take this opportunity to rob people of their belongings, especially in the eastern part of Talensi, where the gold is taking place. There are so many mining communities there. So a lot of incidents have happened since 2022. People are being robbed of their belongings. Others are, robbed not because they are dealing in gold, but they are other residents. And then workers, especially teachers and nurses, are also, affected because some of them are using motorbikes to and fro from their workplaces to the community area. So a lot of concern have been raised by a lot of the residents and the youth activists, especially one particular person has written a petition to the IGP to intervene. And then before he even did that, the Tongran, who was on and his traditional council, together with the assembly and then the police command, has convened a meeting that was 3 days ago, to see how best they can resolve the issue. Especially the Tongran has received so many complaints from residents that the incident is being taken by, it's alleged that it's being taken by the Fulbis, that is Fulani in the area. So he convened a meeting with the leadership of the Fulani community at his palace to talk to them at least, because most of them are known in the community for a long time and they are responsible. So his idea is to let them know what is happening, for them to also try and see if they can talk to their people, especially who are not even coming from the Talensi, who are strangers. So a lot is happening in terms of that.
Right, and Rabiu, what have the local authorities been saying in response to the issues of armed robbery in the traditional area?
Yeah, exactly, especially youth groups and then the divisional chiefs within the Talensi traditional area are very alarmed, and then they are very proactive in this issue. That's the reason why, in collaboration with them, the Tongana has instituted this move by establishing a vigilante group in all the communities in Talensi to at least help the police to fight it. Because according to the police commander, ASP Suleimana Alasan, said that though there are a lot of police personnel there, but the police alone and the security service alone cannot fight this unless the community members, volunteer in terms of, information and other observance. So community members, as far as I'm concerned, I've talked to a lot of them before coming here. They are very alarmed, especially the youth. They have welcomed the decision by the Tongana to establish the vigilante group, that they are ready to support the Ghana Police Service to fight this cancer, because it's very alarming. The armed robbery is, the cases is very high, especially in the eastern part of the Talensi traditional area.
Well, many thanks for your time. Mohammed Rabiu Tanko is Upper East Regional Correspondent. Well, Richard Kumado is a security analyst, and he's joining us as well on the same topic. Mr. Kumado, thanks for joining us. Now, you had the situation in Talensi. How concerning is that the people have decided to take their security into their own hands by setting up vigilante groups?
I think the word is not vigilante group. The word is community watch groups. And they watch over the community in order to liaise with the Ghana Police Service by providing the personal information so that crime can be prevented. There is also a good news that the chief has gotten involved, and traditional authorities working with the Ghana Police Service in making sure that criminals are arrested and crime is curtailed, because nobody wants to live next to a criminal. It's a very good thing. But to the extent that it's getting out of hand, I believe the IGP is watching you this afternoon, and the Ghana Police Service served notice that they will have to go in there and deal with this matter once and for all. The good news is that DSP Bawa and his men are in Tamale, the IGP Special Security Force, and they should get into Talensi to make sure they support their colleagues there in dealing with this matter once and for all, and make sure that criminals are weeded out of the place and they can take crime, so that the people of Talensi can have some level of peace.
Right, now you're asking the IGP to intervene. We know security has been an issue in the area generally. Now, what approach of the security services, what approach should they take in dealing with the concerns of the people?
Definitely, patrol will have to increase. Definitely, information gathering will increase, and definitely a number of arrests will be made, and prosecution has to take place. Because I've always been of the view that non-punishable offenses will always rationalize bad behavior and promote antisocial tendencies in society, and crime is one of those tendencies. To the extent that is a very large area, and on the stretch from Tamale to Bolga, aspect of that area has witnessed high levels of security breaches and safety breaches. This has come to the news again, and I believe the IDP and the special forces have taken notice, and they will work very hard in curtailing crime within the area.
Right, many thanks for your time. Richard Kumador is a security analyst. He's been joining us on the issue of some armed robbery cases that have been recorded in the Talensi traditional area in the Upper East region. We're going to stay on security issues because the Awin Municipal Security Council is urging residents of Boinso-Jema to remain calm and seek redress through the appropriate institutions in resolving a boundary dispute. Well, the council has cautioned that it will not condone any form of violence, stressing that both communities must channel their grievances through the necessary authorities for a peaceful resolution.
Directive follows rising tensions between the two farming communities over a disputed water boundary. At the center of the disagreement is the Ehole River, a water body that has for generations served as a natural boundary between Boinso and Jema. Residents fear that any attempt to alter this long-standing boundary could disrupt years of peaceful coexistence and potentially trigger conflict. Boinso, a farming community with a population of about 4,000, has historically shared a peaceful relationship with its neighbor, Jema. Like many settlements within the Awin municipality, Jema is grounded in strong communal tradition and long-standing ties that extend beyond Ghana's border into Cote d'Ivoire. For both communities, farming remains the backbone of economic activity, with the Ehole River playing a central role in sustaining livelihoods. Beyond its economic importance, the river has traditionally been recognized by customary authorities as the permanent physical boundary, defining land ownership and influence between the two towns. However, residents of Boinso claim that there are intentions to shift the boundary from its original position, a move they describe as a direct threat to their ancestral land and heritage.
Jema osi Jema ka akunya kese no nti oje asase ama Jema ye betra hana Jema mayu na taba no nyina nim se Jema fo ye na me omba bi tena ye no nga kan na e bo hye ti aban panifo police regional commander momna Boinso asema mi kan se me boa president yinkofo bandrefo no momehwe Minister of Lands and Natural Resources o mehwe ye krata o Lands Commission adai e bani say ban panfo MC DC aban panfo mo wo ha no omo nhwe na ani Jema fo asem no omo mra mu bi no omo meka masudwe amra ani Jema fo ntem.
Community members warn that any change to the boundary could spark land disputes and fuel violent confrontations between families who have lived together peacefully for decades.
Yani Jema ya didi bom ya wale ya ho ya bibia bom sesi ade obeye odi maso na ebeto yani Jema ntam ya mpanisa ya sraw fa ye to the year because mpanifo say one fan to the atade e free to.
Meanwhile, the municipal chief executive of the Awin municipality has assured residents that the situation is under control. He says measures have been put in place to address the matter and reiterated the council's warning that violence will not be tolerated. He further urged both communities to engage the appropriate state institutions as efforts to continue resolve the dispute.
Situation on the ground, and we are seriously on top of it, and we can assure the people that calm is here. Nobody should entertain any fear. Everybody should go out to do his or her business, what they're doing. That's serene atmosphere. Advice I would give to the people of Boinso is that they should keep calm. There are so many institutions that you can resort to also fight if you think you have the right documents to claim the ownership of that same piece of land. Because you can go to court, you can also go to House of Chiefs for any redress, or you can even go to Court of Appeal or whatever. There are so many institutions that you can use to address the situation, so that if you think you are legitimate owners of the place, it will be a judge in your favor. But the assembly or the municipality or music will not condone to any violence in any form, that will be meted out to any of the citizens.
Well, let's now cross over to our correspondent for more details on this particular issue. Matthew, good afternoon. Now, you have been following this for some days now. Can you give us the current update of what is going on in Boinso-Jema?
Thank you very much, Judith. Currently, when you come to, or if you come to Jema and Boinso, I can say there is calm, as the MC or the municipal chief executive said. There is calm as we are talking to you. Police are doing their legal job as security enforcing agencies in Boinso and Jema currently.
So you're saying that both communities can go on with their usual activities as far as this issue is concerned?
Exactly. As the municipal chief executive said, currently security in Boinso and Jema is, we can say, is better, because previously both communities tried to, block various ways from each other, from accessing various market activities. But then now there is peace. I can say that there is calm as far as the security is concerned.
And what have the local authorities been saying?
Okay, currently the MUSEC as the security enforcing agency in that municipality is, telling everyone in Boinso and Jema to, become as redress, or as consultations are behind those going on. And right now, as I'm talking to you, they are doing everything possible to, bring calm or bring understanding between these two communities.
Right.
Minister, MP, someone has a musek, Muina Mukahubi, the best sermon, say, Anto Abano. Now, Moshe, no more resolve us our boundary between Boinso and Jemano. The anti-American Sano, because Osha is some yet now, and Manimuya, and to me, I resolve the boundary between Boinso and Jemana, and some Benabeba, Jema from the Benao, Kumha Mudija, Sanso has some coffee be one of Mudijanum. Say, I want share traditional council. Now, you share a we or Mahine. One shall not say one says, Kuomi and Yantama, and here the Baba, a chubby, and here some Baba, because the Atino, and near Yampa, Tiabesre, Sa, society now, Yabo Mujina Dino, or Moshe no Mumra Mubi. Now, already, one of officer issues in Yamai. Maybe me about him, Sini, the Amatini, no, and yet more crony dache, the Pecroni Canco, the Pecroni ye, a crony bay ya, a Sunjay and Kabum, or Nuntin, yes, a young Sabasabia Bessi, a son, Yabobano, say, I now young Cambum, now me point for Baby I said, Dano, my fan to Adia, and in fact, the Maburucano, and yet it's a best ramon.
Oh, many thanks for your time, Matthew. He has been bringing us all the details as regards to that particular situation in his area. We're going to do some more stories, and the final funeral rites of the late Ayawaso East MP, Mohammed Nassar Tuare, has been held at the National Mosque, with tributes remarking his compassionate nature and generosity that has run through his service as a member of parliament, while the vice president, eulogizing him on behalf of the president, John Dramani Mahama, is urging calm and emulation of his traits in the development of the constituency. Mohamed Nasser Touare died on January 4th, 2026, after a short illness, and our presidential correspondent, Komla Kluche, is joining us for more on this. Komla, thanks for joining us. Now tell us or give us a sense of really what's happening on the funeral grounds right there.
The final funeral rite of the late NP has come to an end at the National Mosque here in Kanda. This is the Adua, or the final funeral rites, and it lasted in just shortly under an hour and a half. I mean, tributes came in from the wife and the children. It came in from the Speaker of Parliament, from Parliament as an institution, and then also from the majority side of Parliament, the minority side as well. But the biggest of all was His Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic, Professor Nana Jino Pukwajima, who eulogized him on behalf of His Excellency, the President. And words were quite simple, though. I mean, the ceremony just ended. Ended. I just spoke a while ago to Neil van der Poel, but let me just grab a few words from him, and also the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Barbara. Neil, you were describing Nasser as one individual who was not just compassionate, but he represented what Nima may not be able to get as an MP, probably going forward. What is it that you have to say about your friend? I knew both of you were very close.
Right. Kamala, if you could make the mic go closer to him so we can hear him properly.
And what you have done for them, how you have met their desire, their requests, their problems, how you have been able to address their problems. And so it's not just about the talking, it's not just about the noise you make, but it's about how you impact on the life of the people. And that's what he did. And that is what I always want to remember him for, that he doesn't talk, he delivers.
The MPP intends to contest the seat. What is it you have?
I think it will be a fruitless exercise. It will be a fruitless exercise because, you see, I am a Zongo boy. We are not people who show ingratitude. We are always grateful for what Almighty Allah and also the people do for us. And it will be suicidal on the psychology of the people of Nima to want to give the seat Nazar has left to an MPP. And it's not possible. It's not possible. Look, even if the NDC does not have anybody, we will not give it to the MPP.
Many times, Neil asked about the point. The Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. For you, I mean, what was your connection with NASA?
Thank you very much. Honorable NASA was one of the MPs who never gave the party any issue at all. We never had to go to his constituency to settle any issue whatsoever. He was always in touch with his constituents, and they really loved him. So for us, anytime we were counting our seats, we were going to an election, we knew that for our cities, we didn't even have to go there and do any work because it was already done. And like many people have said about, we never see him in public, never saw him anywhere doing anything, and he's a silent type. But we're always sure that he will deliver the seat, and he did deliver the seat.
Okay, many times, Barbara Sawasama is the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. Well, the ceremony has come to an end, and what the NDC is focusing on now is how to get a replacement for him. The chairman of the party and the general secretary of the NDC have not yet spoken in terms of what the preparations are. But the majority leader says, well, any plans of the NPP to contest this seat, well, it will not see fruition. They will not be able to make the numbers looking at the records of the government.
Right, many thanks for your time. Komla Kluche has been joining us from the grounds where the late MP for Nima, as we all call it, has been laid to rest. Of course, we're going for a very first break, and when we're back, we'll bring you more news. Do stay and stay with us. Welcome back. Now, Ghana's future depends on nurturing young minds in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics STEM education. Well, achieving this will largely depend on the availability of training centers and facilities to equip educators with updated skills and resources to inspire students. However, work on the Ghana's first STEM college at Namburugu in the Karagat district is moving at a slow pace. Out of the about 11 contractors working on various aspects of the project, only the contractor building the girls' dormitory block is currently on site, a situation the people of Namburugu find worrying. My colleague Christopher Mwako was in the community and joins us on Zoom with more details and updates. Chris, now tell us the state of the project.
Yes, so Judith, according to the consultant of that project, he tells me that about 70% of work has been done. Unfortunately, even though the contractors have been paid, only one is currently at site. He's told me that all the certificates that have been raised, the Ministry of Finance has honored these certificates. But as we speak, only one contractor is on site, ensuring that the girls' dormitory is worked on. Now, the other concern has to do with only 2 out of the 11 contractors also have not yet been paid because during the transition, there were some mix-up of documents somewhere, and so they could not trace their documents, and the NDC government took over, and so they've been making follow-ups to get these 2 contractors paid. But as we speak, all the other 9 contractors have been paid for work done and expected to get back to site. But unfortunately, as we speak, only one contractor is on site, and it is affecting the progress of work. And so the people are saying that all they want is government to ensure that all these contractors get back on site to fast-track the completion of the project, so that once Ghana is going STEM, once STEM happens to be the future of the country, the teachers will be trained to also facilitate teaching of these STEM programs will be trained so that they can also equip the students with knowledge. Let's take a listen to one of the contractors who has been lamenting about this situation.
Work done, just as some of my colleagues. I was paid work done, and so I have decided to come back to continue with the project because my fidelity is to the Republic of Ghana, not to any political party. And so if you look at the economic and the social benefit of this project, I thought that I identify myself with my people, and I thought that I have to come, defy all odds.
And Chris, you can tell us what the authorities have been telling you.
Yes, so the District Chief Executive for Karagat has actually given his word and an assurance for that matter that in the coming days he will be visiting the Ministry of Finance to, as it were, also see the Ministry of Education and the all the agencies that are responsible, how they can get the contractors back on site. He's giving the assurance that the STEM College of Education there is one that will open the place up for development. And so once Karagat is 1 out of 2 districts in the country to benefit from this STEM College of Education, they are also putting all measures and mechanisms in place to ensure that the contractors get back on site and see to the completion of the project. Let's take a listen to what the District Chief Executive has to say.
But today is my first time of being here, and I can say that what I've seen is really good, and we all will be happy to see it complete. Well, the project is a Ghana government project. They say governance is continual, and it is directly from the Ministry of Finance to do payment and not from my office. So what I can only do is to add my voice to see to it that the project continue. And I understand that after the initial audit that they did, the consultant or the contractors do not have any query. And so the project is part of projects that are going to continue. So I am hoping, and for what I will do is to add my voice and make follow-up so that the project can actually continue live.
Well, you hear there's some of the local authorities in the area. Christopher Marco, many thanks for your time. He's been bringing us all the details as regards to some stalled STEM projects in his area. We're going to stay on education because hundreds of children are pursuing their education under conditions teachers describe as heartbreaking at Waribogu, a rural community in the Zabzugu district. Or deplorable school infrastructure with cracked walls, damaged roofs and inadequate furniture is discouraging the interests of both teachers and pupils.
Bogu DA Primary School, the only kindergarten and primary school serving the community, has a pupil population of more than 400. With numbers sometimes rising to between 500 and 600. That notwithstanding, only 4 teachers are currently available to manage the school. Teaching and learning materials are also virtually non-existent. Teachers say the situation in the school has triggered repeated appeals to authorities for urgent intervention.
When you go into the classrooms, the floor of the classrooms is very bad. And there are no furnitures for the kids to sit and learn. So when we write on the board for them, they find it difficult writing very fast, or they find it difficult writing because they lie on their stomachs.
Beyond the classroom infrastructure, teachers' accommodation, constructed over 2 decades ago, is also in a poor state. According to teachers, the damaged roofing, falling ceilings, and unsafe toilet facilities have discouraged especially female teachers from accepting postings to the community.
I've been posting teachers here, especially female teachers, and they don't want to come because of the nature of the accommodation or the sleeping place.
If maybe the teachers were available, I think the students here can do enough, because we have intelligent students among them, but because they are not getting the requisite knowledge, because they don't have the learning materials, you see, we are always lacking behind.
The Waribogu School was part of the campaign promises of Member of Parliament for Zabzugu, Umar Al-Hassan, in the build-up to the 2024 general elections. According to the MP, his office has begun addressing some of the long-standing needs of the community.
Which I am very disheartened, because I do believe that all community, every Ghanaian deserves to have a share cake of the national cake. And so I want to again repeat and reiterate that caution and request to the district engineer.
Beyond education, the MP has also initiated the construction of health facilities at Gotani, Mbibodu, and 2 other communities in the district to improve access to health care. The MP has also announced plans to complete all projects within 3 months and to subsequently construct a junior high school block to support education in the communities.
For a chief's compound and a JSS building. And so for us, this is the beginning. The chief's compound is going to be completed in the next 3 months, and we will commission it. And then the next project will be subsequently to give them a building for the JSS.
You're so watching Weekend Central with me, Judith Brown. We're going for a second break. We'll be back with more. Don't go away. Just so you know, Hot Issues is right after this, 1 p.m. With Kemeni Amano and, of course, the Chief Fire Officer. Make sure you make a date with them. Now, let's do some more stories. And media watchers have lauded government's initiative to consider reforms to the country's television licensing system. This follows the president's announcement of plans to replace the current TV license fee with a new public media levy aimed at strengthening funding for the public broadcaster. Here's a report.
The Broadcasting Corporation on January 8, 2026, President John Dramani Mahama announced that Cabinet is actively deliberating on overhauling the TV license law. The intention, he explained, is to phase out the traditional licensing fee, a system many Ghanaians have struggled to comply with, and replace it with a broader public media levy designed to provide more stable and predictable funding for state media. The president explained that once Cabinet finalizes its position, the government will consult with key stakeholders, including the GBC, before presenting the amended law to Parliament later this year.
A few suggestions we have with regards to the so-called TV license. And I think that our thinking is going in the same direction to amend that law to make it a public media levy of some sort. And we're going to change the range of that levy so that it's better able to mobilize funding.
The TV license regime dates back to the Television Licensing Act of 1966 and currently requires households and entities that own TV sets to pay an annual fee to the state broadcaster. Critics have long argued the old system is outdated, difficult to enforce, and generates inconsistent revenue.
From the Commission's perspective, the President's suggestion is creative and forward-looking. And I think that the way to look at it to assuage anybody's feelings is that His Excellency speaks of a public service broadcasting levy. What that means is that, first and foremost, GBC would be the major beneficiary, but there could also be some aspect of the fund in terms of its disbursement that could be used to support any other medium that is providing public service broadcasting.
We have for you right here on Weekend Central. A pleasure coming to you this afternoon. My name is Judith Brown. Do stay tuned. Hot Issues is up next.